Welcome to Protomotive. Today we've got a treat for you. We've got this Ruf RT12 here from a great client that we've done quite a few cars for. He just got this car in from Japan and wanted us to take a look at it and assess it. This thing is a Ruf RT12. If anybody knows what that is, raise their hand or shoot it out in a comment. Because at first I didn't even know what it was. I had to actually Google it when he was sending it to me. I originally thought it was a 993, but it's not. It's a 997, but it's not a turbo. But it is a turbo. The 997 Carrera that was made in model year 2006 when Porsche was not producing turbos. So Ruf took it upon themselves to produce the RT12, which uses a nicely modified 3.8 liter 996 turbo engine stuffed in a 997 Carrera chassis. So it's quite the feat to get this thing in here with dual ECUs, dual harnesses, all kinds of goofiness going on in here to make the immobilizer system and CAN bus work. So let's have a quick look. So as per typical Ruf, they like to badge everything. We've got Ruf. We've got Ruf. We've got some crazy inlet ducts here for the intercoolers. RT12 badge. Nice looking carbon wing. So the 997 Carrera did not have intercoolers. This thing does. Yeah, here's the intercooler down in there. These intercooler exits. Oh, I guess we need the key. Stubby little carbon mirrors. It's much smaller than the standard 997. Definitely has not a 997 bumper. Roof styling going on here. And the radiator and a GT2 style inlet grill. However, is there an exit? Well, there's kind of an exit there. You can see that. It's not full GT2, it's somewhere in between. It's got a modified radiator exit versus the full GT2. It probably could have taken parts from the 996 GT2, chose not to. Looks like some rockers and rear quarters, look a little wider than stock. We're back in the Ruf, the RT12 here, looking to do some data logs. First thing I see over there is the long-term fuel adaptions are 1.24. Almost pegged on the fuel trims. I don't know, that could be difference between European grade fuels and USA grade fuels, or somebody's changed something along the way. Either way, that's way off, and that's going to give a lean throttle hesitation. So we want to fix that, but we're going to have to be a little challenged with that because Ruf's ECUs are encrypted. They've got a little daughter board, so I'm going to have to pull a few tricks to extract the files from that. And then go ahead and pull the encryptor and put a standard EEPROM or 29F800 back on there so we can tune that. Things blowing foam out of the vents. Kind of normal for cars this age, but it needs the heater flap fixed, refoamed. Otherwise, come wintertime, this thing possibly going to Chicago, this guy's gonna freeze his butt off when the heat doesn't work. Luckily the AC still works with the foam on the door all shot, but we'll talk to the customer about that. Kind of interesting and fun. I don't know if you can see that, but the head unit on this thing is all in Japanese. I struggled with it for a while to try to get it back into USA, but can't seem to find the language. So if anybody knows Carrozzeria head unit, how to switch the languages on that, type it down in the comments, let me know. Otherwise, we are out here in the beautiful Ozark Mountains. Nice sunny day. It's a little hot today, 81 degrees. Shouldn't be too terrible for performance, but I'd rather 50 degrees for performance stuff. just readapting it since I just filled the tank up. Fresh tank of fuel. It came here from California and probably has the P grade fuel in there. I'm not sure what they call that in octane. I know they say it's 91, but I'm not sure if it would hold up to that standard or not. Car feels fantastic as far as drivability. Feels good on the road. It handles well. It's not drifting. It has ceramic brakes on it, PCCBs. Not sure if that was an option on this car or this thing being a body in white. They just choose to put that on all the RT12s. I've never really followed much of the history of these, so this is kind of a new one for me. I do understand this thing is a 3.8 build. Hopefully they put rods in it. Kind of silly if they didn't. I think that they're rating these things up in the 680, 600 somewhere, horsepower, where the S I think goes higher than that. Last one of these we saw had stock injectors in it, so we kind of had to laugh about that. So that's part of the reason for the data logs, is we're trying to make sure this thing is not just sucking the fuel system dry and going to be potentially blowing up on the customer when he gets this. So we're now getting down here to turnaround point. These mountains are definitely beautiful this time of year. They're kind of beautiful every time of the year. Right now they happen to be green. Other times in the year they're yellows and oranges and pinks, and there we go. That's not fun. And this thing's showing some signs of age. I mean, there's some slop in the shifter. The bushings should be changed out on that. I believe cables are probably fine. That's pretty typical on these. I'm surprised they didn't shorten the handle up. Does feel like it might have a short shift kit in it. See, it's all trimmed out. We've got leather with orange stitching to match the orange color of the car, and orange door handles, and orange trim, and orange key, and an orange shifter, and kind of got orange everywhere. Let's go ahead and clear this log and stop it. Let's export it. Stick it where it needs to go.
That's what she said.
Clutch is a little abrupt. It's way up top. Could be either a clutch disc is getting worn out, or they've just got the GT2 disc in there with no Marcel on it. Let's see if we can. Flipping through the gauge here. Got no boost. Can't see boost on it anywhere. Luckily, we should be able to datalog boost. Yep. We got boost down there. A lot of traffic today. It is Sunday in the middle of summer here, so the interesting thing Ruf does is they turn off the variable lift on the camshafts. It's still there. All the variable lifters are there. They just turn it off or disable it, so it's in high lift all the time, which gives you real nice performance. But the car is definitely louder. The throttle response is better. The boost response is better. Yeah, I'd clean the window, but the washers don't work either. Good. Feels kind of like just a generic 2.996 turbo. I'll have to work on the airbag light. Had that out a little bit ago. Something about thorax ABS coating on this thing. But it's also got the wires under the seat are There's a couple pins just hanging out, and I don't know, they're supposed to be left open circuit or supposed to be touching. But on both seats, both pins are pulled out. It's probably the seatbelt warning light stuff. Nope, it's not the seatbelt warning light, but it might be the pressure detector in the seat for the airbag stuff. There's Mr. Semi Truck. Well, shit. Let's get the first gear roll on, see what it does here. Surprisingly, no traction control lights. The car's not super stiff, so it does, I don't know if you could see that, but the car definitely has a whole lot of body roll and squat going on there. Cabin is a little droney, down in the low speeds. And get up over 3,000 and it drone goes away. The roof exhaust on it. Alright, let's try this again. The logging cable apparently fell out of the ports. I only got a little idle and drivability. So we're in Durometric. We're plugged into the very well hidden diagnostic socket with no markings on it and hidden under a trim cover in the RT12. So anyway, we can go into Durometric, pull up actual values. Here, let's actually fire the car up before we do that. Okay. Make sure we can connect. Okay, we can connect. Input signals, ready status, or failing on ready status on fuel tank fan. Looks like it needs a gas cap. Actual values. We could go down and manually select these, but I believe I've got a logs XML saved for this car. Here we go. So digital only, apply. There's our values sticking away. After you load your values in, go ahead and click clear, so it clears all the headers and loading the values in. Okay, our long-term adaption is looking better now. Well, it's 1.0 now. It was 1.24, so holy cow. Difference between California fuel and here, or just an empty tank in here. So let's go ahead and see if we can actually get a pull on this thing without it dumping its cable and stopping the data. Because I've heard from other clients that have owned these things that these things run dangerously lean, and we do want to see what's going on with boost pressure on this car. Let's cool everything down a little bit. We were sitting there idling for quite some time. Did an ECU readout and a full DME inspection on this as well. Thing's full of over revs. Range 1, range 2. 996 and ME78s only have range 1, range 2. Not like Cayman, Boxster, or everything else. Even though this is a 997, the 997 DME has up to range 6 over revs. But it's not connected to anything, so it's oblivious. So some unknowing person plugs into the standard diagnostic port in this car, and they're going to say, wow, this car's been driven very safely, and no over revs at all. Whereas you plug into the 996 turbo diagnostic port, that's very well hidden and very hard to find, and you'll get a whole different story of the car being driven very hard and over revved. And the response on this car is good. Even down at low RPMs, you throttle all the way in and starting to build boost, building, probably half a bar there. Already get some turbos chirping. You can't hear that over the AC though. And that's a 5th gear pull. I believe this car has K1624s on it. don't know that it would have the K24 or K26s. The boost response feels a little too good for that. I know they made a couple different models of these things with varying power levels, and each one had different components for the specific power levels. The car is pretty bouncy on the rear. Could need shocks. They could have valved it that way. Yeah, maybe we get a boing, boing, boing going over any kind of bumps in the rear. Doesn't give you a very comfortable feeling. Under-dampened or oversprung, one or the other. Church is in session and it's Sunday, so we don't want to go blasting by the church. Although we may get a few hallelujahs here in this car. I'm sure it sounds pretty fun from the outside. Yeah, real floaty through the corners. Not nice. The car is doing this through the corners. Well, where there's bumps anyway. Being attacked by AC vent fluff. On the front rotors. Hey, that got the same color as me. Second gear, third gear pull. It's definitely got another rush over 6,500 to 7,000. Pretty typical 996 turbo stuff. It has that dip right at 62 to 65, which makes you feel like you want to stop and shift. But if you stop and shift, you're missing that whole other pull from there to red line that picks up quite a bit of power again. Alright, this should be fun. Let's get some drone video over the cliff here. Let's get out of here. Yeah, our adaptation ranges are back up. 1.15, 1.13. Better than 1.24. So it came down 9% from California fuel to Arkansas blend. All right, let's take a quick look through this log. I'm not sure you can see any of this, but our last one. Let's see, RPM, and boost, and Saturday scatter chart, XY scatter. There's our boost. It's nice. Looks like we're peaking, just over a bar boost, and then it kind of falls off on top, down to 1.9, or 0.9. At 0.8 bar, we're hitting boost somewhere around, but that's a second year pull, 4,500 RPMs. This might have K24s on it, because K16s would be up in the low 3,000s somewhere. Let's see. Forgetting a bunch of knock. Actually, timing looks pretty clean. 10 degrees mid-range, all the way up to 26 on top. Get rid of that so I can see. Let's insert a column here. Let's call this duty equals B2 times G2 over 1200. Let's control 20. Put it in gear. The car's rolling. Let's do insert scatter chart. Okay, well, we're not out of injector. Kind of messy up here. Not sure what's going on there. 84% duty cycle. That's safe. 87%. 88% peak duty cycle. See what I was saying by the pull again at 62 to 65. Kind of goes dead, then pulls again up top. You can generally see that in the injection time that looks just like a torque curve. Laptop's using an old version of Excel. It's a little clunky. Yeah, there's that weird dead spot right there that it picks back up.
Okay, intake air temperatures. How are we doing with our intake air temperatures on this guy? Okay, so there's our pole. Let's put that on a secondary axis so we can see the intake air temps while we're driving around. And like I said, when we were sitting still, the temps were high, almost 60 C. Finally got them down to 40 C, which today it's 81 degrees. 20 something centigrade, so it never gets close to ambient. There's our boost run, our intake air temp got almost back up to 57 C.